What if I told you the events unfolding right now in Israel could be more than just headlines? They might actually be pages from ancient prophecy coming alive. Could we be witnessing something foretold thousands of years ago? When prophecy becomes history, those who watch will finally see. Unknown author. Today, our world watches anxiously as Israel experiences turmoil, conflicts intensify, and tensions escalate to unprecedented levels. For centuries, Israel has been at the center of historical, spiritual, and geopolitical debate. Yet today's conflicts seem uniquely urgent, with global implications rippling far beyond its borders. But why should the average American care deeply about what is happening halfway around the globe? It comes down to prophecy, a subject that has captivated humankind from ancient times to the present day. The Bible, revered by millions as divinely inspired, has repeatedly pointed toward Israel as a focal point in end-time scenarios. Scriptures, particularly in books such as Ezekiel, Daniel, and Revelation, mention wars, conflicts, and pivotal events that many scholars and theologians argue are aligning closely with today's headlines. Could current events genuinely be the fulfillment of biblical prophecy, or are these connections merely coincidental interpretations by those eager to see signs where none exist? To uncover the truth, we must first understand exactly what the prophecies say about Israel, about war, and about the signs of the end times. Only then can we accurately discern if what we are witnessing is truly extraordinary. The significance of Israel in biblical prophecy cannot be overstated. The re-establishment of Israel as a nation in 1948, after nearly 2,000 years of dispersion and exile, was an event predicted explicitly in ancient scriptures, a prophecy fulfilled precisely. Since then, theologians, historians, and spiritual seekers alike have carefully tracked every major conflict involving Israel, watching and wondering if the next development could mark another piece of the prophetic puzzle falling into place. Now, with tensions again at a boiling point, many ask openly, is this the moment prophecies about war and the fate of nations truly come to pass? And if so, what does this mean for you, your family, and your own spiritual journey in these uncertain times? In this video, we will carefully explore these questions. We will examine relevant prophecies in detail, discuss historic and modern contexts, and consider spiritual reflections that could bring clarity to these chaotic times. More than merely examining news stories or historical timelines, our goal is to provide you with deeper spiritual insights that have practical, personal significance in your everyday life as you navigate an increasingly uncertain world. As we prepare to delve into these fascinating discussions, keep an open heart and mind. Regardless of your current beliefs or background, prophecy has a way of resonating profoundly, challenging us to look closer and deeper at events we might otherwise overlook. Together, we'll uncover truths, test assumptions, and perhaps even discover fresh perspectives that could shift our understanding entirely. Stay engaged, as the answers ahead might surprise you and profoundly alter how you see world events and your place within them. As we look closely at current events unfolding in Israel, we must first ask ourselves, what exactly does biblical prophecy tell us about Israel's role in the end times? To grasp the significance fully, we need to step back thousands of years and revisit the words written by prophets whose insights echo clearly into our present day. The prophet Ezekiel, writing roughly 2,600 years ago, vividly described future conflicts involving the nation of Israel. One of the most notable examples is found in Ezekiel chapter 38, which describes a massive invasion of Israel by nations from the north, including Magog, Persia, Cush, and others. Many biblical scholars connect Magog to modern-day Russia, Persia to present-day Iran, and Cush to parts of North Africa. These passages speak of a conflict so severe it captures global attention and even draws divine intervention. In Ezekiel 38:15-16, it reads, "You will come from your place out of the uttermost parts of the north, you and many peoples with you. You will come up against my people Israel. In the latter days I will bring you against my land." These words are startling in their clarity. Notice Ezekiel's emphasis, in the latter days, pointing to a far-off future, a time many now believe may be upon us. Another crucial text is found in the book of Zechariah, written approximately 2,500 years ago. In Zechariah 12:2-3, we find a chilling description of global conflict revolving specifically around Jerusalem. "Behold, I am about to make Jerusalem a cup of staggering to all the surrounding peoples. On that day I will make Jerusalem a heavy stone for all the peoples. All who lift it will surely hurt themselves." Does this not seem incredibly relevant when we observe international attention intensely focused on Jerusalem today? Its significance politically, religiously, and geopolitically at the core of global debates. Yet another piece of the prophetic puzzle emerges from the book of Daniel, renowned for its vivid, apocalyptic imagery. Daniel foresaw not just conflict but the emergence of a powerful global leader, often called the Antichrist, who would seek dominance in the Middle East. Daniel specifically speaks of conflicts centered around Israel as indicative of the final stages of history. Daniel 11:40-45. So where are we now in relation to these prophecies? What exactly is happening in Israel that aligns so closely with these ancient texts? Consider that right now, tensions involving Iran, Russia, and various Middle Eastern nations continue to intensify. Alliances predicted thousands of years ago seem to form in real time. Military maneuvers, political threats, and diplomatic pressures align eerily well with scenarios described by Ezekiel, Daniel, and Zechariah. Some might dismiss these parallels as mere coincidence, but could it genuinely be mere chance that the very nations described in biblical prophecy are aligning precisely in our generation? To bring it closer to home, think about this. In a world more interconnected than ever before, what happens in Jerusalem or Gaza doesn't stay there. Conflicts ripple outward, impacting economics, politics, and global peace, thus affecting every American family, every believer, and every seeker of truth. If prophecy is unfolding before our eyes, then each of us must seriously consider what this means spiritually, practically, and personally. The crucial question becomes, why now? Why might this be the era that prophecy begins to take form in ways undeniable even to skeptics? Many theologians suggest that current global instability, economic upheaval, pandemics, natural disasters, combined with rapid technological advancements aligning with prophetic scenarios such as global surveillance, digital currencies, or artificial intelligence, indicate we truly are in unique times. We're not merely observers but participants in unfolding events described with remarkable clarity thousands of years ago. However, before we conclude definitively that prophecy is unfolding, we must consider whether there have been previous moments in history mistakenly identified as fulfillments. After all, throughout history, many have prematurely announced the end times only to be proven incorrect. What makes today's circumstances different? Next, we'll uncover critical historical moments that parallel today's events and analyze precisely why our current moment stands uniquely apart, providing insights you cannot afford to miss. Throughout history, numerous conflicts have shaken Israel and stirred global anxieties. Many generations believed that they were witnessing biblical prophecy unfolding. During the Crusades, the medieval Christian world was convinced the final battle for Jerusalem had begun. In World War II, many feared Adolf Hitler was the Antichrist, initiating Armageddon. Even in more recent decades, events like the Six-Day War in 1967 or the Yom Kippur War in 1973 were viewed by many as prophetic turning points. Yet while these events were undeniably significant historically, spiritually, and geopolitically, they differed in key ways from what biblical prophecy specifically describes about the end times. To understand why today may indeed be distinct, let's first examine what sets the current global stage apart from past eras of conflict. Firstly, the restoration of Israel as a nation in 1948 stands as the pivotal moment that many scholars argue officially started a prophetic countdown. This singular event fulfilled prophecies found in Isaiah 66, which astonishingly asks, "Who has heard such a thing? Who has seen such things? Shall a land be born in one day? Shall a nation be brought forth in one moment?" Israel's re-establishment as a sovereign nation on May 14, 1948, occurred in precisely one day. No event in the last 2 millennia fits this prophecy as remarkably and literally as Israel's modern rebirth. Secondly, consider the unprecedented convergence of global events today. Technological advancements, globalization, the capacity for instant worldwide communication, and the rise of powerful international alliances explicitly referenced in Scripture. Never before has humanity possessed the technological capability to fulfill certain end-time prophecies described in the Book of Revelation, such as global tracking, centralized currencies, or rapid mobilization of massive military forces until now. For instance, Revelation 13 describes a scenario involving a world leader who exercises control over global commerce and implements a system where buying and selling require a specific mark. Only today, with the rapid emergence of digital currencies, biometric scanning, and sophisticated surveillance technologies, does this prophecy seem not only plausible, but increasingly probable. Another critical difference between now and previous historical conflicts involving Israel is the exact alignment of specific geopolitical alliances outlined by the prophets. Today, the explicit cooperation among Russia, Iran, and their allies against Israel matches Ezekiel's ancient description with startling accuracy. Even more intriguingly, regional powers such as Turkey, historically an ally of the West, are increasingly aligning themselves with nations directly opposing Israel. These precise geopolitical shifts were less evident in earlier historical conflicts, but are now undeniably clear. But beyond geopolitical and technological considerations, there's also a profound spiritual dimension. Scripture repeatedly emphasizes a rise in global hostility toward spiritual truths, increased persecution of believers, moral decline, and societal unrest, all indicative of the end times. Paul describes this vividly in 2 Timothy 3:150, warning, "But understand this, that in the last days there will come times of difficulty, for people will be lovers of self, lovers of money, proud, arrogant, having the appearance of godliness but denying its power." For many Americans, these words resonate strongly in 2025. Social tensions, moral confusion, and the erosion of traditional spiritual values feel closer to prophecy than ever before. Today's world seems primed not just for geopolitical conflict, but spiritual awakening or spiritual crisis. In previous eras, although great tragedies occurred, the specific combination of prophetic factors, political, technological, spiritual, never aligned as clearly and simultaneously as they do today. It's this unprecedented alignment that makes our current moment unique and perhaps critically significant. As we continue our exploration, we must now confront one of the most critical questions arising from these observations. If prophecy is indeed unfolding in our time, how should we interpret these signs practically and spiritually? Is there a hidden message within these ancient texts, not only about Israel's fate, but about your personal journey? Next, we'll uncover precisely what these prophetic events could mean personally for you, your community, and the entire world. Understanding this could dramatically alter your perspective on daily life and spiritual preparedness. As we've carefully explored, prophecy may very well be unfolding right before our eyes, particularly through events occurring in Israel today. But perhaps the most critical question we must face now is profoundly personal. Biblical prophecy is far more than abstract predictions or historical curiosities. It is deeply personal, intended to speak directly to the heart and mind of each individual. Prophetic writings aren't merely about global politics or historical timelines. Rather, they guide us towards self-reflection, spiritual awakening, and greater understanding of our role in a rapidly changing world. Consider this reflection from Matthew 24, where Jesus himself describes conditions at the end of the age. He warns in verses 6 to 8. "And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not alarmed, for this must take place, but the end is not yet. All these are but the beginning of the birth pains." Notice carefully, Jesus emphasizes the importance of awareness without fear. He acknowledges global turmoil as inevitable, yet instructs us explicitly, "See that you are not alarmed." This indicates the necessity of spiritual preparedness rather than panic. The unfolding of prophecy, if indeed happening today, serves as an urgent yet gentle reminder to align your life, values, and priorities with a deeper spiritual purpose. Furthermore, prophecy challenges us individually to reassess our daily focus. When we see wars, instability, moral decline, and rapid technological advancements aligning with scriptural warnings, it invites us to ask ourselves, am I living a spiritually meaningful life? Are my priorities in alignment with enduring truths, or am I distracted by fleeting concerns and superficial goals? This self-examination is crucial. Prophecy isn't intended to provoke anxiety, but to inspire transformation. Whether or not the current events in Israel represent the exact unfolding of end-time scenarios, they undeniably signal a powerful moment for reflection. Now is the time to consider your own spiritual journey more seriously. But what does practical spiritual preparedness look like in everyday American life? Firstly, it calls for deepening your personal relationship with God. This could mean spending more intentional time in prayer, meditation, and reading scripture to develop spiritual clarity and resilience in uncertain times. The more intimately you know God's voice through scripture, the better you will navigate the complexities of a changing world. Secondly, prophecy encourages intentional living, prioritizing relationships, forgiveness, compassion, and generosity above material concerns or divisive politics. When viewed through a prophetic lens, everyday choices gain profound meaning. How you engage with family, co-workers, neighbors, and even strangers reveals your understanding of spiritual truths. Thirdly, it invites increased discernment regarding world events. In an age of misinformation, confusion, and widespread anxiety, spiritual discernment becomes critical. 1 Thessalonians 5:21-22 instructs us clearly, "But test everything, hold fast what is good, abstain from every form of evil." Testing all things against the truth of Scripture will enable you to stay spiritually grounded, regardless of the chaos around you. With this discernment, you can guide others toward clarity, peace, and genuine faith, rather than fear and panic. Finally, understanding biblical prophecy in today's context provides hope. It reassures believers that despite global instability, God remains sovereign, purpose-driven, and faithful. The fulfillment of prophecy, even if daunting, affirms rather than undermines faith. It reminds us God's ultimate plan is restoration, redemption, and renewal, not destruction. In your own journey, ask yourself sincerely, how have recent events shifted your spiritual perspective? Have you felt uncertainty, anxiety, or fear? Or are you discovering a deeper sense of spiritual peace and purpose despite global chaos? These personal reflections will profoundly shape your readiness, spiritually, emotionally, and practically, for whatever comes next. As our exploration continues into the final segment, we'll conclude by summarizing our discoveries clearly and compellingly. We'll offer a reflective vision of how understanding prophecy can shape your future positively and invite you into meaningful action. Prepare yourself, because what comes next could inspire lasting change in your life and in the lives of those around you. Throughout our journey, we've closely examined how current events in Israel might directly correspond to biblical prophecy. We've explored ancient texts, historical parallels, and personal implications. Now, let's thoughtfully reflect on our discoveries, summarize our insights, and contemplate the path forward. Biblical prophecy is undeniably complex, mysterious, and deeply intriguing. Yet at its core, prophecy serves a powerful, singular purpose: to awaken our hearts, to strengthen our faith, and to guide our lives toward deeper meaning in times of uncertainty. Regardless of your personal beliefs or background, the relevance of Israel's current conflicts resonates profoundly, carrying global spiritual implications that none can ignore. Here's a quick recap of our journey today. We began by considering current conflicts involving Israel and asked if these represent prophecies becoming reality. We carefully examined ancient scriptures from Ezekiel, Daniel, Zechariah, and Revelation, noting striking parallels between prophetic descriptions and today's geopolitical landscape. We reflected on historical parallels, wars, crises, and global events to clearly illustrate why today's conditions are uniquely suited to prophecy fulfillment. And perhaps most importantly, we asked critical personal questions about spiritual preparedness, intentional living, discernment, and how these prophetic realities impact daily life for millions of Americans in 2025. But now, at this conclusion, it's crucial to leave you not only informed, but inspired, encouraged to engage actively in your own spiritual journey. When considering prophecy, remember this critical truth: its ultimate goal isn't fear or anxiety, but hope, guidance, and spiritual renewal. It reminds us that despite global chaos, there is a divine order, a meaningful plan, and an invitation extended to each of us to participate actively and courageously. So what can you practically do right now? Reflect deeply on what you've learned, revisit scriptures, discuss with trusted friends or family, and pray for clarity. Align your priorities with spiritual truths that endure beyond temporary crises or global conflicts. Be vigilant, yet peaceful, discerning yet compassionate, informed yet hopeful. Share your insights and reflections. Help others navigate these times without fear, but with faith, clarity, and confidence. Above all, take seriously the call to spiritual preparedness. Let prophecy inspire you to live authentically, compassionately, and boldly, anchored in faith and truth amid uncertainty. Prophecy was never intended merely to predict future events. Rather, it's designed to transform our present reality, strengthening us spiritually, morally, and emotionally. Like this video to help share this vital conversation. Subscribe and turn on notifications to stay informed on crucial topics. Comment below and share your thoughts. Do you believe prophecy is truly unfolding now? How has this exploration impacted you personally? Share this video to spark deeper conversations with your family, friends, and community. Remember, Every action you take brings awareness, understanding, and spiritual clarity to others during these challenging times. Finally, let me leave you with this powerful, impactful closing thought. A prophecy is not given to frighten us, but to prepare us, to remind us that in the chaos, God remains in control, guiding every heart that seeks Him. Unknown author. May this truth inspire and encourage you as you navigate today's complexities with strength, wisdom, and enduring faith.